the inspiration for Sacred Nature, our latest book, is our urge to try and reconnect people to nature. Because if you think our food, our water, the air we breathe, it comes from nature. And as the great Sir David Attenborough said, if the environment isn't the most important issue facing us today, what is? The problem, of course, is that even though our religious leaders like the Pope, like the Dalai Lama, are speaking out on behalf of wilderness, on behalf of nature, our politicians are slow to catch on that actually this is a vitally important issue. Because if people have a vote, wildlife doesn't. If the landscape, can't speak for itself, we have to speak for it. And that's what we tried to do with Sacred Nature. Sacred Nature actually was the brainchild of my wife Angie, who's a wonderful wildlife photographer. And it's designed by our son David, who lives in San Francisco and is a creative director for Eventbrite. And he agreed to design this book for us on one basis, that he chose the pictures. For photographers, that, I must say, was agony. But we trusted him. And we feel that with his artistic design, the images, 80% of them Angie's, that we have created a book which will inspire you, our audience, to start thinking about our connection to nature. Because our connection to nature is an ancient connection. If you think about the first people, when we moved out of the forests into the landscape, what were we doing? We had to be natural historians. We had to be able to understand the animals. We lived side by side with the animals, including the great predators. And so for much of man's existence on Earth, he has been part of nature. Today, perhaps 60% of people live in cities. So we want to try and address those people who, in a sense, have lost their connection to nature, and to get them to think of it as sacred, and to think of it as something that they are part of, and that is of value, that it has to be protected.